Guys, welcome back to another episode of Talking Money with Pete. In these videos, I try and go through and explain some general financial concepts, and I use a lot of pictures and analogies, in this case props, to help me go through and explain those concepts. So today we're going to be going through and talking about offset versus redraw. Let's go through and get stuck in. Have you ever heard the saying, no one will lend you an umbrella on a rainy day? Well, it's the same sort of thing with offsets and redraws. So to start with, let's go through and get stuck in and talk about what is an offset and what is a redraw. So let's start with redraws. So a redraw, particularly talking about on your own mortgage for the whole of this scenario, for a redraw is when you've paid extra, you're ahead on your home loan, so you've paid your minimum repayments are up to here, and you've been paying a little bit extra into the physical loan facility. And so the bank promises you that you can, when you need, if you need to redraw the money back out for a purpose, you can redraw that back out and you can put it into whatever else it is that you need. However, an offset account works a little differently. It's a separate account that sits next to the home loan, and the money physically sits in this account. So it's just like a savings account, except it doesn't earn any interest. Instead, the money that's in there offsets the interest that you would be paying on the mortgage if it was put into the mortgage. So the biggest difference between them both is that flexibility is a lot easier in an offset account because it's not physically in the loan account. And so COVID's been a very interesting time for a lot of these, because the saying at the start about the umbrella is when everything's fine and rosy and dandy, banks will keep giving you credit card limit increases and no problem whatsoever. However, if you both suddenly find yourself out of work and you didn't have enough money in there to start with and it was pretty close, and now there's a lot of economic uncertainty, if you're pretty close to the limit anyway, you might have had a redraw there before, but a bank might not necessarily give you that redraw, particularly if you no longer have the ability to pay it back. It's a thing called responsible lending. And so the banks have gone through a lot of that with the recent Royal Commission. But if it's not in the loan in the first place, so you don't have to draw back on the loan, if it's in your own account over here in cash, yes, it's achieving the same result. However, you don't have to ask the bank for permission back to your own money. So sometimes that flexibility is a double-sided sword, because when you want the money, if you're not a very good saver, flexibility can burn a hole in your pocket and you might go spend it on other things when the bank might have helped you hold on to your money a little bit better. So flexibility isn't always the best thing, but it's probably the biggest difference between offsets and redraws. The other big difference is when you draw the loan back down for whatever reason you draw it, if it's personal reasons. So if this is your own home, you draw that loan back and you go put it back, you take a little bit more out, you put it here because you're going to turn this into an investment property and you're going to use this as a deposit on your new home. The amount you just redrew was for personal reasons, so it's not a tax deduction. Obviously, speak to your tax agent about how this is applicable for you, and there's always little exceptions to the rule, like time periods and all those sorts of things too. So I'm sure there'll be someone that'll go through and find something about it. But as a good rule of thumb, if you can keep it in an offset account, it makes your life a lot easier with a lot of those sorts of things. And so mathematically, generally speaking, they're exactly the same. But the biggest difference is in flexibility. Hey guys, I hope you found that video interesting. Feel free to leave some comments on what you'd like to see, or if you've learned anything, or feel free to like the Facebook page or the YouTube channel. We'll be making a lot more videos like these in the future, so hope it helped.